beyond that, we're going to move on to what should be, I believe, Felicity, you said it before, that this is, I think, Impact's first instance of this match. The 8-4-1 match to determine the number one contender for the Impact World Championship. Now, an 8-4-1 match, if you don't know what that means, I don't blame you, because I didn't either. This match is going to start out as an 8-man tag team match. The winning team, whoever those may be, then go into a fatal 4-way match. So that team now becomes enemies. And then whoever wins the fatal 4-way match gets the title shot down the line against whatever champion that may be. If that sounded confusing, take a break. We'll figure it out together. We'll get through it together. But let me tell you who the two teams are and the 8 men. On team 1, you have Bully Ray, Jonathan Gresham, Heath, and Nick Aldis taking on team 2, Mike Bailey, Moose, PCO, and Rich Swann. One of those teams is then going to take on each other. So it could be Bully Ray versus Jonathan Gresham versus Heath versus Nick Aldis, or it could be Speedball Mike Bailey versus Moose versus PCO versus Rich Swann. That was a lot. I'm proud of you guys for sticking with me. You know, this is why Austin chose all of us as life partners. You know, some of us longer than others, some of us not even really. You know, I kind of turned out to be a fembot with Machine Gun Jumblies. But besides all that, who do you guys have? I'm going to go with Felicity for this one.
I guess the first thing is how do we end up picking? I do have a question. Did Aldis face Macklin for the title yet?
No. So far, Aldis, to my knowledge, has only wrestled 2 people, Sheldon Jean and Kenny King.
Right. I knew about Kenny King. I guess it really depends on whether or not you think they're going to pull the trigger on Aldis yet or not. So, which is a tough call.
It's also worth noting that, to my knowledge, Nick Aldis does not have a signed contract with Impact. I'm pretty sure he is working on like a handshake agreement or a short-term contract. So I don't know if he's with Impact for the long haul. He could be, and even if it is for the short haul, Impact is known for putting their championships on people who are either out the door already or aren't there for a long time. So all these things factor into that situation. Why don't we do this? How about this? We'll split this down first. I'll do 1 and 1. Yeah. Which team do you think is going to win first?
Okay, well, I think the Bully Ray, Gresham, Heath, and Nick Aldis crew is going to win, because I can just tell you, I think Nick Aldis is going to end up being the one in the 8-4-1, because if he does have a short contract, then I think you want to at least get him in a title match as soon as possible, because apparently, you know, they teased that when he signed. Mm-hmm. So if he's got a short contract, you got to get him in. If he gets the title, then, you know, the sooner the better, if you want to actually put it on him. If not, then, you know, you at least get that matchup against whether, you know, it's Macklin or Shelley. We'll talk about that next. But I think you get Aldis, just slingshot him right to the title picture, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. Chad, now you. Which team do you think is going to win? And then who do you think is going to be the one?
I'm actually going to oppose Rev here.
Suck it, Felicity.
I dislike Bully Ray. I do love Heath. I'm indifferent on Aldis, and Gresham is cool. But the other team, I think I just like almost every member much more. I love Mike Bailey. I love Moose. I love PCO. I don't love Rich Swann, but so what? And I feel like the contenders in that team are just better. I mean, Moose is a former champion. He wants to get back to the mountaintop. Bailey has never gone for the title, has he?
Yes, he did. He had a great, I think it went almost an hour, if not a full hour, against Josh Alexander.
Ooh. He's somebody who I think should be in the the top contender spot. Like, even if he doesn't win the title, I think he should be fighting for the title now after his great ass X Division run. PCO, who just went against the champion, still should have a shot. And Rich Swann is just there to get a few good moves off.
I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to say this to you. Of the 8 men in this match, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are former Impact World Champions, or former champions in Impact, I should say. Some of them might have won TNA championships. One of those men is Rich Swann.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And what, Gresham and Bully Ray?
Not Gresham. Gresham was a Ring of Honor World Champion.
Right.
It was
Bully Ray, Moose,
Nick Aldis, Moose, and Rich Swann.
Yeah, I'm going Mike Bailey, Moose, PCO, and Rich Swann. And from there, anybody but Rich Swann could win for me. Any of the other 3 in the Fatal 4-Way. Let me also just say that this match is innovative as fuck. And I'm like really interested in who even contributed to the idea. Like 8 on 4 on that's some sick shit.
Somewhere.
Impact again with the ringer. That's some good shit.
Somewhere Chris Jericho, Eric Bischoff, and Jeff Jarrett are fighting over ownership of this idea. Somewhere one of those 3 are saying it was their idea. So, all right. Felicity, you have Nick Aldis.
Yep.
Foxy, you have anybody but Rich Swann on that team.
Yeah. I mean, it would be amazing for PCO to do it again. I don't know how people are with him and if they want him to go for it again so quickly. So I would say maybe Speedball here. Shot in the dark. I know he's probably the dark horse. He's the underdog. Maybe I can't say, but I don't think you lose with a Speedball.
I agree.
Also, Moose is just fucking Moose. Like, even if he doesn't have the title, he's just fucking great. That's always a good feud as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. So for me, I just don't know how long they plan on having. I don't know how long they plan on having Macklin be champion, because again, Josh Alexander had a year-long reign with that championship, and I'm of the belief that whoever the next champion is shouldn't have that long a reign afterwards. So it could, if I had to pick one from each team, I'd go with Nick Aldis and I'd go with Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah, I'd do the same. Since I didn't pick somebody from the other team, give me Speedball if the other team wins the initial 8-man tag. So my heart says Speedball Mike Bailey because Bailey deserves it. That man has been the MVP of Impact since he's been there. And I would love to see him win the world championship. But my head says Nick Aldis because, let's be real, Nick, what the hell are your options? Your wife works in Impact. WWE didn't want you. AEW didn't want you when they were forming as AEW. And even if they, you know what? I take that back. I think they did want you and you didn't want to go to them. So Impact. Oh, and yeah, let's not forget the NWA didn't work out for you either. So let's just analyze our options here, Nick, and just be happy Impact is taking you.